What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode. Today I want to share something that I've never shared before, and that's how I do the majority of my night hunting. I'm going to kind of give you guys a couple of quick tips and some tricks, and then I also kind of want to go over a little bit of my gear. So I'm going to start with this. Before I reveal anything, I do want to say a huge thank you to Sniper Hog Lights for being my longest running sponsor of the channel, and that they've been with me since I've had less than 500 subscribers. They've been a huge support. I've tested lots of different products, and they have helped me get to where I am today because of these lights right here. So this right here is arguably the most important light of my entire setup. This is a 50 LRX Sniper Hog Lights, and I will show you guys the LED that is in it. It is an infrared. I don't know if you guys can see the IR there, but this is infrared light, which I can turn this thing on and you will see nothing. There's no light. You may be able to see the red square in there. It is off now, on now. I don't know if the camera can pick that up, but this camera right here, which is what I filmed at least 75% of my videos on, is a Canon X. It has the infrared mode. Here I can turn it on. I can leave it in the on position, turn my camera on. My camera will be in night vision or infrared mode, and I can mount this camera right up here on top, turn it on, and basically I have night vision. I can see anything out to 200-300 yards, whatever this camera will zoom in and see. This is how I film all of my night hunts. I typically don't use a red light and sit in the dark and just use my red light to light up the camera. It works better with this thing, and this thing is awesome. So for those of you that are looking to film your night hunts, that Canon X and a 50 LRX or a bow light or any size light from Sniper Hog Lights with an infrared bulb in it is the way to go. Next up, I want to talk about this 66 LRX. Now I keep a red bulb in this thing, and it is good out to like 800 and 900 yards. Not even kidding. Jump on their website, check this thing out. This is one of the newest ones right here, and it's got the new red accents. Freaking sweet. So I'll show you guys this thing right here behind me. You've got a flood mode, and then you can zoom this thing in to get the distance that you want, and it turns into a spot. So it's pretty stinking awesome. And with these newer LRX lights that they've started coming out with, a quarter turn there, a half turn, a full turn. It basically like one full turn, and that gets you all the way from a spot to a flood in one full turn, and that's awesome. Some of their older models, you'd have to twist and twist and twist and twist and twist forever. They fixed it, made it better, and that's really challenging considering how awesome these things already were. But they just keep improving and keep making better lights. I'll leave a link in the description for sniperhoglights.com. You guys can jump down there and click on that link, follow it through to the website to sniperhoglights.com, and you can check all these lights out and pick some different ones. They've got all sizes. So like they've got this huge, well, I say huge, in comparison to my palm, it's got, it's decently big, not overly heavy. These things are awesome for going on your rifles. And then second most importantly, and again, let me finish my sentence, I guess, they've got all different sizes. So that one being the biggest, one of the biggest, they have feeder lights, they have, of course, bow lights, rifle lights, regular flashlights, all kinds of awesome stuff. And right here is second most important to my entire lineup. This is my 30 LR, and for those of you that are wondering what color I use at night, it is red. For the most part, I will always use red, and it's like a contrast deal. If you look at the color wheel, red is closest to the color black, or whenever you're hunting at night, you want a light that our eyes can see, but also something that the animals can't see. And because of the contrast, the animals, as long as there are no shadows or anything casting a shadow, they can't see this light at all, period, for the most part. In my opinion, what animals do see is shadows, and that kind of leads into a little bit more of these tips and tricks that I want to talk to you guys about. I'll start with the first one. I want to show you guys some mistakes that I've made that I have on film that I've never posted, And so I'll start with this one. I was hunting with Gage from Bluff Outdoors, and I was hunting with Weston from OSC TV. I will leave both those channels linked in the description below, so you guys can go check out their hunting videos. They've got a bunch of cool stuff. Weston has a trail camera, sends you pictures from the feeder. We sneak up to the feeder. We're trying to shoot this hog. We're on a tank dam, and there's a line of brush right in front of us, and we are shining lights across the tank dam to the feeder where this hog is standing and eating. It's about a 30-yard shot. Well, I turn this light on in low mode, just like this, which this one has the same capabilities. It's got you can zoom it in, and you can go to from a spot there, and that's high mode. That right there is low mode, and then you can take it all the way back out to a flood, a bigger area that you're covering there. And let me throw this in as well. They also make headlamps, which I have right here. This is one of the last bits of my equipment. I keep this in white. This thing is stinking awesome too. This is the 40 KAP or cap, however you want to say, and it also has the flood. The spot to the flood. This thing is ridiculously bright. This knob right here turns it on and off, and then you also have the ability to dim it, which I keep it all the way on the dimmest mode. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but keep it all the way on the dimmest mode whenever I'm headed to the stand. That thing is sweet, and that's one of the newer additions to the Sniper Hog Lights lineup. But anyway, back to the hunt that I was talking about. We've got a nice sized boar at the feeder, and he's pretty spooky. And if we would have been in a tree stand or a ground blind and we wouldn't have had any shadows, we wouldn't have spooked this hog. So that first night, and of course I'll roll this footage for you guys, that first night we sneak up to this feeder and we're shooting across the tank dam, or at least that was the goal, that was the plan. We get there, and I turn this light on low mode. Now I don't know how well the infrared camera is picking that up, picking this bow light up, because we also had the infrared light going with it, so you guys can see really well at night. But the first thing I do is I take this and I turn it in low mode. And the way I've always learned, the way I've always hunted, is when I have animals come into a feeder, hogs, 99% of the time I'm trying to shoot them at night, I'll bring that light down over their back. Most of the time what I'll do is I'll turn this bow light on in low mode, and I will draw back, except I will sky draw, which I never do unless I'm not hunting. I will sky draw, and then I will bring my bow down onto the back of the hogs. Now, typically, and then when I say typically, I'm talking like 95% of the time, and I shoot a ton of hogs after dark, you guys know that. I'll bring it down on their back, and just as slowly as I can. If they start getting spooky, I'll lift the light back up and I'll get it off their back. And if I have to, I'll let down and turn the light off, but I do that very, very quickly. Sometimes if I don't want to be drawn back and holding at full draw, I will turn this light on, this bow light, and I'll pull it all the way out into flood, and I will light some animals up. Of course, I will light it up in the air like this. I won't be drawn back. I'll bring the light down over their back. I'll make sure that they're not going to be spooky, and then I can draw back right here and hold and make my shot. Most of the time I start on low mode. So if I can tell that they're not going to spook on low mode, well then I'll take the light back up in the air. I will turn it into high mode, which is what you guys just saw right there. I will turn it into high mode, and then I will bring it back down on their back. Or in the situation that I just explained before, I won't be at full draw. I will keep it on high mode, and then I can either leave it on the animal, which I typically don't do whenever I go from low mode to high mode. I will pull it back up in the air, turn it in high mode, bring it back down on. Works really well. I've had a lot of success doing it. I recommend you guys do that as well. However, the reason why this hog busted on us is because he was catching these shadows off of the brush right in front of us. Everybody's on their knees on the tank dam, and I've got the light on. I'm at full draw. I'm getting ready to settle the pin, and I'm drawing back, of course. And when I do, those shadows start to flash. Now, those animals can see the shadows. The way that I compare it is I can, let's just say that you close your eyes and you take this light and you go across your eyes with it on, of course. You see the light coming across your face, but you can't really tell, especially with a darker color like red. You can't really tell where it's coming from, blah, blah, blah. All you know is that there's something there. Now, if you were to take this light and you were to hold it in one position and leave it in front of my face, and I close my eyes, and then you were to take a hand or a shadow or an object or something and make a shadow, then I would be able to tell that there's something making movements in between me and whatever's shining on me. The hogs really, they can't see that red light very well or at all, in my opinion. So if you're making shadows, they can pick that up, they can sense that, and that's what spooks them. So if you take the time to trim your shooting lanes around your stands up in trees or around your ground blind or whatever, you're going to be much more successful. So I hope that you guys try that out. It was funny because the first night we got on that hog, it was like a Friday night. We sneak up there, he busted us, and the whole time as we're coming back to the house, I'm like, man, why did that hog bust us? Why? What was the problem there? I was thinking back on the whole deal. I can't think of any time that I made any shadows or I made two quick movements with the light. And I got to thinking on it, and the whole time I'm thinking, of course, fast forward into the next day, the next evening, and the next night, we're getting pictures of the same hog back at the same feeder. So we're like, all right, well, let's go try for round two, So we get out there, and the same deal, except he was even more spooky. As soon as I turn the light on, I get it on low mode, I ease it down over him, and I'm getting ready to draw. Last time, the night before, I had gotten it full draw. Well, this time, I get to about a third of the way through my draw cycle, and poof, here he comes. He's running right at us. Now, I don't know if Weston got that on footage or not, but everybody bailed, and so it was funny. I'll explain it a little bit more. But I'm sitting on the tank dam. Weston's in front of me filming. Gage is behind me. I get sandwiched because everybody's like freaking out. Well, this hog, he was spooked. He didn't smell us because the wind was in our face, but he was just leaving the normal way that he leaves from that feeder. And the reason why he was kind of coming towards us is because that's the way he came in, or that's the way that he generally leaves. We're in his territory. He didn't charge us. He halfway charged us, I guess. He was coming down the trail that we were sitting on, and then he peeled off about 5 yards in front of us and went down the tank dam and took off. He never knew that we were there, and we barely knew that he was there because it was so dark, and then we figured out which direction he was running whenever we heard him, of course, number one, and then also number two, whenever Weston's watching through this infrared camera and watching this hog run back at us, and then he's like diving out of the way back onto me. It was funny. One of those deals that I kind of wanted to share with you guys. But we, as I was saying, we go back out the second night. I get like a third of the way through my draw cycle, and there the hog goes. Boom, he takes off running. And I kept thinking about it. I kept thinking about this the whole time. Like, why did the hog bust? Why did he bust? And I start replaying it back in my head, and I'm like, there's bushes in front of us. There's a reflection off the water. We're making and creating these huge shadows. That's what it was. So if the wind would have been a different direction, we could have come in from the road. We wouldn't have had a problem killing this hog. The last time we stocked up on this tank dam, Dylan, actually from Bluff Outdoors, was with me. Me, Dylan, and Weston, we all snuck out and went to the exact same spot. We get up on this tank dam, but Dylan and I had actually walked around the tank dam and gotten even closer, within like 15-20 yards of the group of hogs. So we weren't casting the shadows off of those bushes. We weren't casting any sort of reflection off of the water, or we weren't making any reflections off the water, if that makes any sense, with the light bouncing, reflecting, whatever word you want to use there. We weren't doing those things whenever we shot hogs and were successful at that spot the time before, because we had come around all the water in the bushes. So guys, be mindful of your shadows and stuff. I've taken a lot of shots with just moonlight. I actually have a video, it's kind of a ways down, of one of the biggest hogs I've ever shot with a bow. I didn't turn a bow light on. I had enough moonlight that I could wait until my eyes focused and adjusted enough that I could see this hog in the moonlight, and then I made the shot. And it works, it really does, and I've been successful doing it. That's another thing that you guys can maybe try if you're confident enough in your whole setup and you feel like you can draw back, find your anchor point, make sure everything's lined up, your peep is good with your sight, you feel like you can get on your pins, this, that, and the other, you have enough light. Of course, be ethical, even if it is just a hog, whatever. I don't like to just injure animals. I want to do my best to take them out, and most importantly, I want to do my best to recover them, because that's the whole point of shooting them in the first place. So try those things out, guys, and see if that makes you more successful in the field. I have the advantage, and I'm sure some of you have the advantage as well with some sort of camera like this XA30 here, is if I have animals coming to a feeder, let's just say it's deer. It's pitch black outside and I have deer coming to a feeder, but they kind of sound like hogs and I can't really tell. I don't have to spook them or run the risk or the possibility of spooking them with a light. I can just turn this camera on, turn the infrared on. I still can't see anything in front of me. I'm just using the little screen right here on the camera, and I guess I can cut this on for you guys and kind of give you an idea of what it looks like. If you ever see me like filming an interview like this and my face looks gray, that's because I'm in night vision mode. So here it is. You guys can see yourselves, which is kind of cool, but let me flip this back around. You're in infrared mode right now, and then let me turn it back into normal mode. So now we're seeing normal colors and then back to infrared mode. So pretty cool how it works. I could turn the lights off, and of course I can see clear as day at night. And it's really a cool deal, and that's how I film all of my night hunts. So you guys, that's one thing if you are looking and getting into the whole filming and YouTubing deal, and that's a great way to start. I mean, that's a little bit more pricey, but you get the ability to film after dark, and whether you want to spot and stock, I filmed tons of videos with that thing after dark, so you guys can check that thing out. It's Canon XA30. It works great for me and films in really great quality, but again, I couldn't do any of this stuff, the night hunting stuff, without these lights right here. Like I said, I've got several different, I've got every size. So I've got, here's the 30 LR, and I've actually upgraded to an LRX bulb, so I've got the advantage there, which is another cool thing about these lights. I want to show you guys. One of the coolest things about these lights is that here I have the 66 LRX, and right here I have the 50 LRX, of course. Let's just say I have a white LED here, and I'm using this thing as a flashlight around the house. This has the red LED in it, but I don't want to change the LED from here to here and use the bigger head there, because you guys can tell there's obviously a difference. This one's of course brighter. Well, here's what you can do. You can take the head off of the 66 and you can take the head off of the 50 just like this. Give me a second. And you can set that aside. Then you can take this with the red LED in it, so you don't have to swap the LEDs, which is, I mean, it's really easy to do anyway. But you just swap those, you don't have to swap the LEDs, you just swap the heads and screw it on. And these things are totally interchangeable and compatible with each other, which is really, really cool, really, really handy. Now to wrap this video up, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that y'all were able to learn something, kind of learn from my mistakes with the shadows and then the way you set up your stands. Make sure you don't have any stray limbs that could possibly cast shadows back to your feeder, your food plot, whatever you may be hunting. Just be mindful of it. Also, one other thing that I wanted to mention, and then I'm going to close this one out, is if you're going to stock up on a group of hogs out in an open field or in an area somewhat open, it could be a field, it could be anything, you see these hogs from a good ways away. Let's say you're 200 yards away and you're shining a light on them and you realize that they're there. Don't turn your light off and walk up really, really close and then turn your light back on. Turn your light on from way back a long ways away and use it as a way to blind the hogs as you walk up on them. And of course, if you're hunting a group of hogs that's a little bit more skittish and you turn that light on whenever you get real close, they're more than likely going to spook. So if you're a long ways away and you turn the light on, you sneak right up to them, they'll never know that the light is on as long as there's not too much shadow stuff going on. I've done this numerous times, I'm talking tons of times actually, where I will spot them from a long ways away and I will leave the light on, and I've stalked up to tons of different hogs out in open fields, wide open fields, leave my light on and just walk right up to them. Now sometimes they'll try to look at you and pick you out and see what you are, what you're doing. If there's a lot of moonlight, they can kind of pick you out sometimes and they'll bust, but 99% of the time, if you're stalking up on a group of hogs, if one of them just happens to pick its head up and kind of look at you a little bit funny, just stop, just freeze, leave the light on them, keep them blinded, wait till they go back to eating, and then continue your stalk. As long as your wind is good, they'll never know that you're there, they'll never see you coming, and you will smoke more hogs, you will kill more, and that's awesome. We got to get rid of them stupid things. But that's just one of my last tips there for you guys to kind of close this thing out. I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. If you have any other questions, leave a comment down in the comment section, and I will do my best to answer it, or talk about some more night hunting with you guys. If you have any more video ideas, drop them down below in the comment section as well, and I will do them. I also have a dove cooking kind of video, I guess that's the right way to put it. I can throw in the cleaning portion as well, so I can show you guys actually I can throw in the kill, cleaning, and the cooking portion, but I plan on just doing the cooking portion for you guys so you guys can see exactly how I do it. Y'all can check it out and copy my recipe. I use the jalapenos and blah blah blah, cream cheese bacon. It's super good. You'll have to check that video out. It's coming later this week. I also have a fishing video coming for you guys. We caught a ton of bass, and all this footage is from back in the spring, and I just haven't had time to put it together because I've been doing so much more hunting stuff. So more fishing on the way, which I know some of you will be excited for. I love putting some of those fishing videos together, and also I have some magnet fishing to do as well, but the weather has been absolutely killing me. So I'm doing my best to get out and do some magnet fishing, and as long as the rain will hold off and I can get out, I'll be able to go and do it. And I'm excited because I've got a couple of new areas, and I'm going to be using the MagPros magnets, and they're stinking awesome. So with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the love and support. Hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and if you have, be sure to hit the little bells right there next to it so you get a notification every single time that I upload. Be sure to share these videos, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever, tag me, and I will do my best to reply on any social media. But just share these videos, get the word out there so we can grow this channel and get more people in on this elk hunt that is fixing to go down in less than 3 days. I'm leaving in 3 days, so I'm very, very excited about that. With all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I love each and every one of y'all. Y'all are awesome, and I'll catch you on the next one.